All right. So without further ado, then we will get started. I will let the two of you introduce yourselves, and if there's anything you need from me, please feel free to go ahead. We'll run this side of the meeting. You guys can do whatever you need, and then at the end, after any questions or whatever, you guys can pop off and we'll carry on. So thank you guys for coming. We've got Kim Weishuhn and Cheryl Buhs from RFA.
Thank you. First off, thank you for all joining us. I'm Cheryl Buhs. I am the VP of National Sales for RFA. Just to give a little bit of background on me, I was actually with Street Capital in previous life. So that's how I know Pete and Deb and a few faces on here actually. I was with Street for a lot of years. I started with them in 2009, and then I came through to RFA with the acquisition when that occurred in October of 2019. So that's kind of the gist of me. I'm here just to kind of give you guys an update on what's going on with our current portfolio, some of the changes that have happened for 2022, and then Kim can take it away. So I'll let Kim give her intro, and then I'll give you an update.
Perfect. I think most of you guys know me. There's a couple of new names on here that might not know me super well. Deb knows me quite well. We share a birthday. She will mention that at some point. No, she's not mentioning that. She's mad at me today. Oh no.
Kim, you know what's really interesting is that yes. I was gonna ask the brokers a trivia question, and the trivia question was, what do Kim and Deb share? But I think what we're gonna have to do is revise the question. So you guys keep doing your presentation, and Deb and I are gonna scheme. So if you see us popping off the video,
always scheming behind the scenes. As long as it equates to deals, scheme away. So I was with Street Capital as well. I kind of followed along with Cheryl. She's been here a little longer than me, but been around. I started as a lifelong banker, at least I thought I was. Then I was a broker, then I was a senior underwriter with Street Capital, and now I've moved over to the sales side. Would you say, Cheryl, 5.5, 6 years ago now?
Yeah, about 6 years, yeah.
6 years, yeah. So I've kind of been on all sides of the business, and I'm definitely here to help. Why I wanted Cheryl on this call is because we've actually had some major changes for 2022. So she's here to enlighten you on all the good, the bad, and where we're going now, because it's great. And you guys are very lucky to be part of our exclusive insiders group. And she's going to quickly touch on that. Well, she has, well, we're down to about 15 minutes, Cheryl. So I'm going to let you take it away. And I've got the insider stuff loaded. If you want that popped up, just let me know.
Sure. Yeah. If you want to pop that up while I'm talking.
Perfect.
So I do apologize that I have to run. I have I'm based out of Calgary, as is now Kim. She's originally from the Lower Mainland, but I have a 2:30 that I have to pop off onto, which is actually a investor conversation. So hopefully that will end up being indicative of some changes coming for the fixed rates, since there is a little bit of volatility in the bond market. So it may give us an opportunity to be a little bit more playful with our fixed, but stay tuned for more details on that piece of it. But what I really wanted to get into, and Kim's given me a bit of dialogue around some of the struggles that your account has had with RFA since basically we did a hard reset. So for those that knew us as Street Capital, and there were, obviously different policies, different products, different investors that were a part of our Street Capital days. And then ultimately in January of 2022, in 2020, we became RFA Mortgage Corporation. And it was a hard reset of everything. So it was different investors, different products, different policies. So it was a complete change for us in how we were doing business. So, which also then equated to a bit of a change for you guys and how you guys were doing business with us. So I've always been this way. I'm always very black and white. I don't like to blow a lot of smoke about things. So we were a one-trick pony for the last 2 years. We've been a single investor. We've been working with a single investor for that matter, which is what has caused a little bit of the complications. So things like having late pre-fund audits, which I know you guys have experienced, having limitations within certain policies and products, having some very interesting changes within our rates. That has been a very heavy focus for us at RFA. And our executive team, inclusive of myself, we have really pushed very hard on making sure that we're looking to get new investors on board. And the only reason that it's taken this long is because this little thing called COVID that has caused a lot of delays in just our general lives really postponed some of the changes that we were looking to implement a little bit earlier. So effective December of this past year, we onboarded a significantly larger investor that we are pushing the majority share of our insider volume over to. Now, what that means for you guys is that there is a significant change in the pre-fund audit piece of it. So instead of it being 100% like it once was, it's gone down to standard industry requirements, which is significantly less. But it also has allowed me to start doing things from a policy standpoint that we weren't able to do previous. So what we've done is that we've actually implemented a very big difference between our insiders and our non-insiders from a compensation standpoint. So I'll just go through this document fairly quickly. If you have any questions, either pop it into the chat or just put it where, just tell me to stop talking and I will mute at that moment. So for the insiders, your base compensation has been changed to 115. However, with a 10 basis point efficiency bonus. Now that efficiency bonus is a brokerage efficiency bonus. It's built off of hitting a quarterly target along with hitting and maintaining your minimum funding ratios and approval ratios. So minimum 60% approval ratio and a 70% funding ratio. At any point in time throughout the year, if you happen to miss a quarter, we have the opportunity to then backdate at the end of the year as long as you hit your annual targets. So if there happens to be a slightly light quarter and you guys happen to miss either the target or the funding ratio, that does give you guys the opportunity at the end of the year to make up that extra 10 basis points and have that essentially paid out at the end of the year. It is a brokerage activity when we talk about targets. And the way that we built it isn't necessarily the same as some of our other competitors. It is built on either a deal, a funded deal amount or actual funded dollars. So what that equates to is about a deal per broker within your team quarterly. That's all we're looking for, is that if everybody on the team contributes, we have the ability to hit our targets and maintain our funding efficiencies. So when you're looking at the 115, it does give you the ability to hit that 10 basis points as long as we all work collectively together. Over and above that, you guys now have, with the insider status, is you guys have access to certain promotions that we offer that is exclusive to insiders. And then you have access to certain offerings, particularly when it comes to rate and or a particular program that is available to you guys. So things like we launched our stated income in January. That's a new thing for us. That is a fairly new feature for us. It's not new to mine and Kim's previous life, but it is new to RFA. We heard throughout the last 2 years that doing deals with us insurable because we required an appraisal on absolutely everything, that was a problem. We've made a very quick shift effective January 24th. All insider insurable deals, purchases and transfers will now have access to our AVM model. So the AVM is done through the insurer. It is at no cost to you. And it does give you guys access to obviously have the AVM completed. Now, in the off chance that you do require an appraisal, if it happens to be a part of our no fee transfer program, there is a rebate still in play. So in previous, up to in the last years of our workings, we had an appraisal rebate program that was still in existence. It was if you had a mortgage amount that was either $200K in everywhere throughout the country with exception to GVA or GTA, which is it was actually at a $250 mortgage amount, then we were rebating $300. That has been lowered. The national mortgage amount has been lowered to $150 for our insiders now, as well as the rebate has been increased to $400 in the off chance on a transfer that you are required for an AVM. There still may be products like a spousal buyout or private sale where we always do require an appraisal. That obviously cannot be AVM'd, but we do require the appraisal, and you can order it through any of the facets that we have, which is either direct to appraiser or through any of the 4 appraisal management companies that we have on board. So we have those that have come up, as well as not last week, the week before, we did launch our cashback transfer program. And that is specific to, we'll get to that one here, Kim. We launched that one here that is specific to our insiders, and that gives your client the opportunity to have $1,000 up to $1,500 in cashback. There's no clawbacks. There's no hidden agenda with it. Best rates, best comp. It's just a nice gift with purchase, if you will. So things that the insiders are getting that my non-insiders, so the guys who do onesies and twosies throughout our relationship, don't have the same access point. You guys also have access to our alternative program. Now, this is fairly new to you guys. The alternative program is completed through RFA Bank. So there are 2 entities. There's RFA Mortgage Corporation, which I believe Kim has gone through before. That is where we register all of our prime business. And that's actually technically where Kim and I are employed out of. Then we have RFA Bank. RFA Bank holds and hosts our alternative business, which is our B business. The nice thing about our alternative business is that it is structured on our balance sheet. So we set rate, we set product, we set policy. We don't work with investor pooling on the alternative business. So it is very much a much more flexible program. We have a really robust lending area. So if you're ever concerned about, do we lend here? What's the LTVs? What are the maximum sliding scales, et cetera? Kim is very well versed in both the A and B, and feel free to reach out to her for that. You guys will also have first right of refusal on any of the products that we decide to pilot. So there are some very unique programs that we are working on bringing in, and we're currently developing, and I'm hopeful that we'll be able to introduce those to you guys here in the very near future. The last piece of, well, I guess not last piece of this, but the really important piece of this is service. And again, to my point earlier of, I'm not one that likes to blow smoke. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I can issue you a 45-minute commitment. Our systems, if they're working great and I've got an underwriter that's got time, certainly I might be able to get you a 45-minute commitment. But to guarantee that, that's not something that we currently sit at. What I want you to be guaranteed of is that you're going to have an excellent service experience, meaning you have a dedicated RVP, which obviously is Kim. You have access to me at any given time as well. Not to toot my horn, but yes. You have you have a dedicated prime underwriter, and you also have a dedicated group of underwriters with the alternative side. And the reason I say pod of and group of underwriters on alternative is because the time it takes on each individual alternative deal, I want to make sure that we maintain SLA. So we provide a few underwriters to ensure that the SLA is maintained. Our typical SLA is really within 24 hours on an application, and then about 48 hours on doc review. We can certainly look to get quicker than that if we're aware of timeline constraints. So for instance, we know that the purchase market right now is nuts everywhere within the country. So if you have a COF or you have a situation where maybe they have gone unconditional, but there is a panic on making sure that there is an approval in place, please let us know, number one, that it's a purchase and what the COF is instantly. So include Kim, include the underwriter, please make sure that we are aware of it, not just relying that it's going to be picked up in the deal notes or perhaps on whatever submission platform you guys are using in order to submit into us. The one piece that I'm extremely proud of, because it is something that I was working so hard to ensure that it was in place, is this guaranteed of funding on day of funding by noon Eastern Standard Time. So for you guys, now not necessarily Brent because he's in Quebec, but the time zone for where you may be doing business, this will help you out. So this is actually 9 a.m. in BC that we will guarantee funding to be in place. So having the funds physically in the trust account ready to be issued by 9 a.m. BC time, as long as the solicitor has completed all of their documents through to me within 24 hours of funding. So the day before, ideally, so then we know that there aren't any sort of little issues. We never want you to be in a situation where you have clients sitting in their moving truck, sitting in the driveway going, where the heck are my keys? I want you guys to be able to have confidence that when you guys are at day of funding, you know that the funds are going to be in the solicitor's account on time. Over and above that, there is the experience piece. And now the experience piece was a little bit contingent, obviously, on COVID. But you will see throughout the year that we do have a lot of little mini trips, little mini excursions, where it isn't just like a lot of what our competitors do, where it is very much specific around an annual trip. And it's always usually the top 5%. And it's always the same people typically that show up to this. We want you to have benefit for hitting the button, hitting the send, getting your deals funded with us, and that you guys have benefit to join us on some of these very, very cool experiences. So that's the gist of the Insider program. If you want to just flip to the transfer program, we can just really quickly show that. So this is what I was talking about the cashback option. Now, I'm hoping that everybody on here is registered and that you guys are receiving our emails, but this is something that we were really proud of. And actually, when I was launching it to the RVPs, so my sales team, when we were originally bringing it out, they kept, every one of them just kept saying, well, what's the catch? There has to be something. I'm like, there's not. We literally are giving a gift with purchase. Best rate, best comp, either $1,000 cash back depending on the mortgage amount or $1,500 cash back. The the cashback is provided to the client in a form of a direct deposit into the account that we have on file for them. So nice and slick and easy for them. Hopefully this gives you guys a bit of an advantage when you are dealing with retention teams that are currently very aggressive in the marketplace. Okay. Any questions within that very quickly?
That was really consolidated. I like it.
Program. No one?
Oh, they're being very kind, Deb.
All right. Okay. Is it because it's almost the weekend and you guys are like, she's got to stop talking?
I know you touched base, Cheryl, on the fact about the last minute documentation, but I really want Deb to hear what you had to say. So that extra check on every file, what's happened with that?
So because of the switch in an investor, that's the biggest part of it for us. And then, like I said, the bulk of our insider volume is all being shifted to this new investor who no longer requires the scrutiny that we were under. Does it mean that I can just go willy-nilly and not have any mitigation around things? No. You will still be asked questions and asked for the normal documentation that we ask for, but you can have confidence that there isn't going to be this last minute audit that happens 2 or 3 days before funding or day of funding. And you're like, where did this come from? I've been file complete for a month and a half. There is always a standard pre-fund audit that typically happens with any lender. And it's a selection of volume that is irrelevant basically to your business. And that's what I want you guys to have some confidence with, is that last minute audit piece is now no longer in play.
It's gone.
Just a question on the cashback, just so I understand. This is purely a gift. It's not a clawback.
No clawback. No.
So that's what I tried to find. And that's what I went at Cheryl for when she did her launch meeting with us. I'm like, okay, cool. Clawback, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. Like, where are we recouping this? And we're not.
No. And it's similar to our frontline program. We still offer that frontline program. I know you guys had access to it with a previous relationship that is linked. However, we're still offering the frontline program. So there is that still in play that also has the $1,000 cashback that does not have a clawback included in it. But this particular transfer program, again, is offered as a gift with purchase.
And that transfer program, that's it's eligible to be the kind of no fee transfer?
Correct.
And is it purely conventional charges?
Yes. So, sorry, we register conventionally, if that's what you meant, but no, we can take standard charge or collateral charges over. If you are looking at a collateral charge, as long as the minimum mortgage is 150 or larger, then we would do it as a 10 basis point broker reduction to your compensation to cover the FCT fee, or you can have the client pay the fee as well, whichever you prefer.
And what's the comp like on a transfer? Is it the same as the insiders program?
You got it. Yeah. So 115 plus the 10 efficiency bonus, unless it happens to be a collateral charge and you choose to pay the comp from your broker commission, then it would be obviously reduced to 105 plus the efficiency piece. You still have that as an option.
I will resend out what I'm showing you now, which is the insider transfer compensation. I'm going to send you guys a couple of the items that we've talked about today after the meeting as well, just to make sure you guys have it handy. But yes, I do want to point out there is only one lender that I cannot transfer a deal in from, and that's Street Capital, which, I mean, that should be a given, but I just want to highlight it's only Street Capital.
So if anyone's not aware, Street Capital is the old RFA. Yeah, it was what RFA was known as before RFA.
Yeah. So it's technically our book of business, but there was a restriction when we first launched so that there were 2 other lenders on that list. And I think that's what Kim's trying to nicely put out there, that, and I won't, we can accept MCAP and RMG, no problem. We don't have any restrictions there.
You would refinance a street mortgage?
Yep, absolutely. We can finance it. You bet. Yep. Good.
Cheryl, I think you need to jump off to move on to your next.
I do. Like I said, it is an investor meeting, so hopefully it parlays into a fixed rate offer. We are looking at trying to come out with something that is a little bit more aggressive in the marketplace. So stay tuned. Wish me luck.
We're all behind you. Let's do this.
I will leave the rest of this over to Kim, and thank you guys for your time and for having me, and good to see the folks that are on here, and feel free to reach out to me anytime as well. Kim and I work in tandem when we across the board with all the accounts. So if there's ever a question that you guys have, feel free to reach out. Awesome.
Thanks, Cheryl.
Thank you guys. I appreciate your time.
Bye, Cheryl.
Right, bye.
All right, so we've got you, Kim, for another little bit. Is this, do you have a little bit more that you want to present, or is it kind of a Q&A now? What would you like?
It's kind of a Q&A now. I want to know what you guys want to know. The biggest thing I wanted Cheryl to highlight is some of those nuances that we really experienced in the last couple of years are now gone. The fact that we were a one-trick pony is now gone. We've already onboarded one more investor, which has loosened some things up right away. And we've got, like she said, three in the holding pattern that should be onboarded here over the next little while, which is definitely going to be opening things up even more.
Awesome. So here's a question. Sliding scales have been kind of moving around because property values have gone up quite a bit. What are we looking at in terms of sliding scales within the Okanagan region? So Kelowna, Penticton, Vernon.
So in the Okanagan region, I'm looking at 80% of the first million and 60% of the balance.
And what about Salmon Arm? How does that, is it about same?
I like Salmon Arm because I spend my summers in Salmon Arm. So what do you need there? I do the same sliding scale.
Same? Okay.
Yeah.
Has there been any thought with the property values going up so much in Kelowna of increasing the sliding scale?
There will be. We are just working out some details on a newer uninsurable program. And once we have that, there'll be a slightly better sliding scale, but it is in the works. And it's definitely a conversation that's had almost weekly right now.
Yeah, property values have gone up so much.
It's crazy.
So does that mean there are exceptions granted on occasion, Kim, before the new policy comes up?
There is. I would need to have a strong file, and I need to have a super marketable property, and I need to be involved with it, but absolutely we can take a look at some exceptions. Don't be so quiet, guys. Come on.
What else should we know?
Very quiet.
What else can you tell us, Kim? What else are you doing that's magical?
Right now, our biggest focus is on that transfer program. We're definitely pushing that. So this transfer cashback program is an insiders only offering, which you guys are insiders. It is being offered right now from now until March the 11th. It only has to close within 120 days. There's no scale back on that. Like Cheryl said, there's no catches. It's a full service product, 2020 prepayment. Nothing is changing, and it's literally a gift with purchase. That is the best way she's described it yet. So if you guys do have transfers that you're looking at, or people who you feel would benefit from a lower rate, get them in, and get them in soon.
Is that available for both fixed and variable?
Yes.
What is the penalty on a variable rate? Is it the contract or the prime rate?
It's based on prime. No other questions? You guys gotta have something. Deb? They're so quiet.
They're quiet. This is very quiet. So the question that I was going to ask is what do you guys share in terms of your birthday? So I'm actually going to ask, so you have to comment in the comments and directly to me. You cannot, obviously you don't want to do it to everyone, but so you got to name two things. What is their birthday and what is their astrological symbol? If you know one, you'll get the other. All right, so yeah, so if no one has any other questions, Kim, I do want to thank you for your time. This has been very enlightening and obviously quite refreshing to know that that we have a different investor and that these last minute things should not happen. I think that will be very encouraging moving forward.
Yeah, I like to call it our relaunch. 2022 is looking really, really good. And the fact that, I mean, you guys haven't seen Cheryl in a few years. She went and had a couple of babies, but she's back and she's feisty as ever. So she pushes hard and she gets what she wants. So she's a girl after my own heart. Things are changing and they're changing rapidly since she's been back. I mean, we've got the AVM model in place now. We've got our stated income product back. We've got another investor onboarded. She's not going to stop. She is looking to be able to provide consistent and enjoyable service experiences across the board. So you're in for a big change and it's already started.
Awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to it. And it's nice to see Cheryl's face because I honestly haven't seen her in a few years. So
she's back. No more babies. She's given me the word, no more babies. So she's back.
So
that makes it darn cute.
Barring
baby.
any accidents.
Nope, there won't be any. She's guaranteed that. Makes cute kids. But
got deep, did you?
There'll be no more babies. No more babies for me either, just in case anyone was asking.
Me either. I'm done. Nobody needs more than 3 boys and 2 15-year-olds. It's enough. It is enough.
That's
3
true.
boys, 1 girl trade.
I might take you up on that right now. My 15-year-olds know everything about everything, and my 11-year-old thinks he's 15. So, yeah.
Oh, I'm not trading. Mine are older than you, so forget it.
I'll just drop them off. Don't worry. I'm booking flights for them as we speak, Deb.
So Cheryl mentioned something. She said that you're now in Calgary.
I am.
So you were at the coast and now you're in Calgary. Is this like fully business move? They said move here.
They made me an offer I couldn't refuse. So I moved out of the Lower Mainland. I moved up to Calgary. I'm living in a lake community. We were able to double our bedrooms, double our square footage, and I'm 200 meters from a lake. So I'm quite happy with that. And not only that, they let me keep the Okanagan and interior region because I spend my summers down there.
Awesome.
So I have 0 complaints.
So what region has a lake? Is it like one of those man-made lakes?
It is. So it's a man-made swimming pool with a biological ecosystem because it's stocked with fish.
I love Calgary.
It's 64 acres. Currently, we are enjoying skating, hockey, curling, ice fishing, snowshoeing, and cross-country skiing on the lake.
Awesome.
Which lake are you on, Kim?
I'm on Mahogany.
Oh, that's further south of 22, isn't it?
That is as far south before I drop into Okotoks as you can get.
Wow.
I was in Sundance for 7 years, and
Okay.
yeah, lake communities are great.
They're
Good.
lovely. Totally different experience than what I'm used to.
Is that east or west of the center line?
South, it's all
It's
south.
just pure
It's all
south?
south, it's down. I'm southeast. So
Southeast.
I go
Yeah.
to Costco in Okotoks because it's like 15 minutes from my door with no traffic.
Yeah, you're right on the bow too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great setup, you know.
It's
Just they
very-
moved down south. When I was there were 3 lakes, Bonaventure, Sundance, and I don't know what else. And then they just kept on going south, which is what you had to do, and the Buhs lovely. So
Yeah. So we're 15 minutes from Bonaventure.
Awesome. Well, if there's no other questions, Kim, I will let you drop off. Again, thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. I appreciate the news. This is fantastic. For any brokers that weren't on the meeting, I will post this to our YouTube channel, then they can watch, so they'll get the updates. I've taken some notes as well. So I'll put your email on there if anyone has any questions. And yeah, thank you again.
You're very welcome. And if anyone had anything they didn't want to bring up in this environment, which does happen, just send me an email, give me a call. I'm going to put together a couple of the transfer items that we talked about today. I'm going to provide you links to both the websites that we utilize for Prime and Alternative. Maybe what I'll do, Pete, is I'll send it over to you and you can distribute it out to everybody. Absolutely. So that we get everybody, even those that couldn't make the meeting today. Perfect. I will let you guys continue on with your meeting and have a great day.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Bye, guys.